What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Queen Naja, and we are back with another episode of All Facts. So today I have some beautiful, beautiful ladies with me. To my left, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, everybody. My name is Lauren.
And I'm Mars.
Okay, so Lauren and Mars. What would you guys categorize yourself as? What do you do? What do you do for work? What do you do?
Okay, I feel like I'll speak for both of us. We wear like a lot of different hats. Like I think we both have always prided ourselves on like being multifaceted women. So I would say like what do we even do?
Well, right now we're both bartenders.
Okay.
So it's like
We are in Miami, guys, just so you know.
the real life working job, I would say that we have.
Yeah, we don't like the 9-to-5 lifestyle. Like,
Okay.
We've done it. We started working at a very young age, so
Mhm.
we've had those experiences. And after we got into our entrepreneurship journey, we knew we didn't want to go back to that. So bartending has been a way to like still get like fast, good money and be in an environment where it's like social.
I would say we're like loading entrepreneurs. That's like
Loading.
yes,
Pending.
Yeah, it takes time. Like I'm 24, Mars is 23, so it's like you're so young, but you don't feel like you're that
Yeah,
young.
you feel old.
Yeah, like I feel like now the day and age that we grow up in, like you feel like you have to have everything together so quickly, like with social media. So we both know that we want to be business owners and be wealthy and like be able to afford anything that we want. We're just kind of in the process of planning that out and like working towards it, I would say. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I just want to get into how we bonded, how we met. So first, I met Mars at a party. I met Mars at a party, but I feel like we strengthened our connection with Forex. So, if you guys are not familiar, Forex was something that was pretty popular during the whole COVID time. There were a lot of people unemployed, losing their jobs. And you know, me, I was just a regular college girl. I was at home during the time and I was like, hey, I see this girl making money. I want to know what I can do to make some money like Mars. I always think Money Mars when I think of her. I do not know why, but yeah, so basically I saw, her mentorship. I saw her speaking on social media, very active. Also Lauren as well. That's how I met Lauren. And they were a group of young ladies who not had it together completely because we're still growing, we're young women, we're young adults, but they were getting somewhere. You know how you see someone and you're like, yeah, I gotta hang with them. It was like that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Forex. What is Forex?
Okay, so Forex, if we're going to get technical,
Okay.
it stands for foreign exchange market.
Okay.
And basically, every country in the world has its own unique currency.
Right.
In the US dollar, Japanese yen, pesos. Every country has its own currency, and the foreign exchange market allows you to trade currencies, and you're making a profit off of the currency changing in value.
Okay.
To make it very simple. A lot of people thought of Forex and they thought of the sales aspect of it because it started becoming mainstream, and a lot of people were making profits from basically putting each other on.
Right, exactly. And let's talk about that. A lot of people think that was it a scam? I know a lot of people say that it was a scam or like it was some sort of pyramid type thing. Can you just clear that up? What was it? What do you think that's what? Because you don't do it anymore. Let's just make that clear. They don't do it anymore. But it was just an interesting time with COVID and everything. It was pretty popular. Yeah. So what do you think? Was it a scam? Was it like a pyramid type thing?
So we were actually like a lot of people have the misconception that like you join Forex and that's not really what it's about. We joined a network marketing company that taught you how to trade in the foreign exchange market. So that's where the whole like idea of scam and like pyramid scheme came into play, was like the company itself.
Right.
Because there are like many people that trade in the foreign exchange market without joining a company. This company kind of just like bridged the gap between not knowing how to trade and trading. So it wasn't necessary that you join the company, but like Mars joined first, and we lived together at the time. And
can you talk about how you joined Mars?
Yeah.
Like what made you do it?
I don't even remember.
It was like right before I moved to our second apartment in Miami. I had an old friend from high school that basically was able to get himself out of homelessness from trading, and that he started before it got like really huge. So he wanted to introduce me to it, and he sold me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do this.
Yeah.
She was on cloud 9 when you first started.
Especially like just moving to Miami. It's like, it was kind of hard to find a job because everyone there does, like, a lot of people don't speak English. So working like at a retail shop or something, it was very difficult. So
definitely felt that.
Yeah. So I was like, I was doing eyelashes a little bit and trying to build up my clientele when I first moved there. So when he told me about that, I was like, okay, this is a really good way for me to make money and like still be in college. And
of course. I thought that's one thing I thought about it. I thought it was very convenient. I thought it was something that I could learn about. And I thought that it was something that was a tool, because there's a lot of people doing crypto. A lot of trading platforms out there. So I think that even if you don't do Forex, try something in that market, you know?
It definitely opened our eyes to like realizing that, one, working a 9 to 5 is not it. Like, I feel like both of us before, even we joined that company, we both like wanted to have a lot of money and be very successful. But like after joining that company, we got access to like so many different ways that these people that have a lot of money, we realize like how they actually make it. Cause you know, they don't teach you that kind of stuff in school.
Exactly.
We like realized how much people invest, and residual income, passive income that like you don't have to work for. So that, I think, is what really like sold us was and sells everyone, is like the convenience of making money on your phone or on your laptop. That was like a really big selling point.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. I will say it's not, we made it look easy, but it's not that easy. Like everything. And I think that was a big realization for us, was that like, you're not just gonna go on your phone and type in a few numbers and become a millionaire. You know, it takes a lot of practice. And I think that was a big struggle for us and like other kids that were our age, because you know, you're going to school, you have a job to pay bills, and then also trying to learn this side hustle. It takes a lot. And that's, I think, was so big about our company. There was like a lot of young people that were all just trying to make it.
Yeah.
We just didn't know what the fuck we were doing, basically. Like, that was really what it was. It was like
I think that's why like a lot of people labeled it as a scam, because I can't speak for us, but a lot of people that were in the same company would pitch it like they would sell a dream, like this is going to change your life, like you're going to quit your job in 6 months. So a lot of people will get into it, and it really is learning a whole new language. So getting into it and having all these expectations, and then realizing that it really is hard and it's not as easy as it looks. It's not just like 3 steps. Really, you have to study and like put time into it and you have to be passionate about it too. Like, you have to actually enjoy looking at charts, and that's not for everyone. So I think that's what caused people to say it was a scam, because they would pay money, get in, and not really see a return from it, and their expectations were just like not up to par. It wasn't realistic.
You had to have money to invest as well. Like, you know, I was broke at the time. Like, you know, that was when COVID. So like I lost both my jobs. neither of us really had that much income to put into it at first. And like, that was the thing that we had to explain to other people. We were signing people up that were homeless and like didn't have money and would like borrow money to sign up. And then we also had to tell them like, you know, you can put $100 into an account, but like you're going to make $5-10 profit. It's the best way to join would be if you had at least $1,000 to put into a trading account
to play with.
Yes. Yeah. And like you have to be willing to lose it because a lot of people did lose it. And you know, when you're young and you barely have $500, putting that into something that you don't know you're going to get back was a very big struggle.
Then you lose it all and blame it on the person who introduced you.
We were
it
literally...
It was fun, though. I thought it was fun.
Yeah. We were just like therapists all the time. Like trying to calm people down and like saying like, oh, bro, it's okay. Like, you're going to get this money back. Like, it was very, very hard, like, on us. We definitely did not know what we were signing up for. That like we thought it was like, it was great. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, neither of us regret the experience. But it took like a lot on 22-year-olds, like to have to, we were talking to grown adults being like, trying to help them with their life, basically.
Their mindset, their situation, their not only financial situation, but I feel like the experiences we went through we weren't just financially helping people. I think what really made it worth it to us and why we did stick around for so long is because we were actually, like she said, it was a good thing and a bad thing being therapists to everyone. Yeah. But like we really did impact people and like show them a different side to their reality and show them that like if they wanted to I feel like a lot of people took that experience and even if they aren't trading anymore, their mindset has shifted to allow them to believe in more in their lives, like to believe in starting a side hustle or starting a business or not doing what they're doing forever. I feel like a lot of people that we met, they at that point in time they thought that's what they were doing for the rest of their lives. So I feel like we really opened them up to just seeing more out of their lives, and that's what made it worth it. It's just actually like impacting people.
Right. So do you think, what would be the biggest challenge for you, or what was the biggest challenge for you? Was it, because you were considered a leader in this. So was it, you know, not showing the hardship? Yeah, do you think like that was a challenge?
For me, it was the balance. Like we had no balance in our day-to-day routine. And we were always putting like other people before ourselves because, you know, we started, obviously we both joined to trade, but like once we got exposed to the network marketing side, we totally took that over because we liked the fact of like having residual income and being a leader and posting on social media and traveling and meeting people. When you're a trader, you're just kind of like in your room on your computer doing all that. And
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's good that you mentioned that because most people, when they think of Forex, they think that you have to participate in the networking sales aspect. So can you just explain more how the network and the trading, you don't have to network. It's a personal choice. You can just trade if you want. But like she said, she wanted residual income. That's income coming in every month. So,
you did not have to do the network marketing side when you joined our company. It was not that like you would be forced, but there was a membership cost that you would have to pay every month. And if most people didn't want to pay that every month, so in order to waive that fee, there was something that you could do where you would sign up 2 people and then you would get your membership free. So we would always offer that to people because a lot of the time we were signing up people that didn't have a lot of money because that's who we were hanging around, you know, like we only knew 20-something-year-olds. So to try to help them out, we would try to get them to get their membership free. And honestly, I think that's where this whole like scam of a company comes into play because you had to sign up people if you wanted it for free. But then if you didn't want it for free, you had to pay. most people didn't want to pay. And so you kind of got wrapped up in the network marketing side, even if you didn't really want to be. And so there were people on our team that would just trade and be in their room. We would always explain that it wasn't mandatory, but then like you have to pay for the membership. We ran into a lot of people that didn't want to pay, but wanted to learn, but didn't want to do the network marketing side. And that was like a struggle I think we had, like where they just didn't want to. They wanted the best of both worlds, but didn't want to pay for, you know, what they were getting or being like taught to do. But you can 100% trade without, you know, one, being in that company, and two, like, even if you could 100% just be in your room trading. There's a lot of people that do that. We just like to meet people.
Yeah.
That's really what it was about. Yeah. That was fun. And traveling.
Where have you traveled?
We went to a lot of places, especially during COVID. Like,
the tickets were so cheap.
We shouldn't have been traveling, but we really went everywhere.
Right before COVID hit, like the U.S., we went to London.
Oh, wow.
And while we were in London, everyone in London was talking about Italy because Italy was shut down. But to us, we were like, shut down? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
As soon as we got back from London, we went to New York the next weekend. And that's when we started hearing about COVID. And we got to New York is when COVID hit New York. And then canceled all the flights the day after we got back to Florida.
Oh, my God.
So that's when it all started. And we got sick right after we came back from New York. So I think we were like one of the first few people to get COVID.
We literally
didn't know we had it.
Yeah, we booked as soon as we landed in London, you were on the phone with one of our friends, and we booked a flight to New York right when we landed in London.
That was crazy.
And we went for a convention for the company, but it was also her birthday. So we extended a trip. We stayed for like 2 weeks.
Almost
2 weeks. It was so much fun. Like that.
I bet.
That's why like us joining I Am Academy, like we were super passionate about it. And that's why we don't regret it, was because we had so many fun experiences. We would have never traveled the way that we did.
Never went to London.
Yeah.
And that was really fun.
Like it gave us a lot of opportunities to like go places, because we had all these events and conventions that we would go to. So it gave us a reason to travel, and we met a lot of people. It was just very hard to balance, you know, yourself and your money and you trading, but also teaching people how to trade when you're learning yourself. And when we
it's pressure. It's a lot of pressure.
It was a lot of pressure.
You said, like, what was your biggest challenge? Like, and for me, it definitely was trying to look perfect or be perfect, because everyone's depending on you. So it's like you're going through your own issues and your own mental struggles. Then you have people venting to you about their lives. And sometimes it's like you can't give them like the compassion that they need because you're going through your own stuff. And you have to pretend that you're not, because they're expecting so much of you.
Exactly.
And that's a lot of pressure for someone who doesn't have their life together.
None of us knew what the hell we were doing. And we're like all trying to like all come together and figure out a plan on like, okay, how are we going to retire our parents in 2 years? And
meanwhile, I'm 20 years old.
20 years old. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to like have my life together and be a millionaire by the time I'm 25. And like
a lot of pressure.
On my vision board, like we made vision boards, and now I still have my first one I ever made. It's like this year I was supposed to have $1 million. And like, I'm like that. I'm so glad that I learned to like dream big and everything, but you really don't know where your life is going to take you. And we thought we would be in that company forever. Like coming, like realizing like that it was just like harming our mental health, and like we weren't like happy. And like learning to quit something when it no longer serves you was a very big thing that like we had to overcome, because you have all these people looking up at you, like people
and
on
it became
Instagram.
Our identity. Like, people, we stopped doing it over a year ago now, and we still meet people that are like that associate us with Forex, and we'll be like, oh, I don't do that anymore. So it's also going to take a while for our reputation to change too.
But I don't think that it's a bad thing. I know that social media, they present it as it's such a bad thing. Like, Forex is a scam.
Oh my God.
It was all over
don't
Twitter,
think it's bad.
We would get roasted. Like,
But we loved it. It fired us up.
It fired us up, like, because we try to be like the exception to the rule, and like there were a lot of corny ass people in that company.
There were a lot of people that I can see. They made it look like a scam because they really were on some like
and
flexing shit,
flexing other people's stuff, and like like just, you know, you're hanging around someone that has a lot of money, all of a sudden you think you have a lot of money and you don't. And it's very easy to get wrapped up in that lifestyle. And there was a thin line between manifesting it and then like faking it.
Yes, very thin line that people would cross.
Because like you were kind of like brainwashed into being like, oh, no one knows the difference. Like, if you think you could have it, you basically have it. And it's like, but nah, I don't really have that Lamborghini, bro. Like, I'm not going to be posting it and, like, you know, renting cars and posting. Like, Instagram's fake. Like, it's a facade. And we now learned that. But, yeah, when we joined IM, it was at the time where it was at its peak. Yeah. So, like, now no one hears from anyone in that anymore.
Kind of, like, faded.
It literally just dropped.
It evaporated.
And I used to see it all the time down my timeline.
Yes.
And now it's nothing.
We don't really know.
That's why I'm
that
like,
happened.
what exactly happened? Like,
I think it just got to a capacity where there was so many people in it. Yeah. And the system wasn't perfected enough to hold and teach that many people at once. So it all came like crashing down. Like, I feel like a lot of people joined and were lost. Yeah. And then it's just like, okay, like the system wasn't foolproof and they couldn't handle it. And now it's just like.
It was around for many years before we joined. Yeah. And it was, you know, silent really. I had never heard of it until Mars introduced it to me. Did you hear about it before you joined or not really? No. Yeah. So like it was basically how it is now. It was like that years ago. And then COVID hit, and I think a lot of people, the company just had like a good year, like good 2 years where like the right people were joining with the right amount of followers and they got exposure. And
it was the best sales point during COVID. Everybody needed money really bad.
Definitely.
Yeah. And
at least try it.
Yes. Yeah.
Everyone was desperate.
Yeah. And so we had a lot of momentum. Like, I'm going to make money from my phone and COVID. I'm never going to get a job again. Like, it was, you know, like crazy. And that's where I think like everyone started joining at a really fast pace. The leaders were like telling us the right things and hyping us up, and they had the money to throw all these events. We had someone named Bob Proctor join our company, which is like a huge motivational speaker. And so we had the right people and like we had the right value. I just think, like Mar said, it was too much for the company to handle. And a lot of it was hype. Like there was a lot of hype at the time and not a lot of people were actually learning the skill set to keep them making money. So once people stopped making money or like blue trading accounts, they were like, fuck it. And they quit. And then it became, and of course, like there was always drama within different teams. And it was like being
pretty deep.
Yeah. It was like being a sorority. So it was like at some point, like, people left, like big leaders in the company decided to do something else. And then just like everyone just, I think, like dropped off. You know, I don't know if it was because people weren't making money. But
what do you think was the last straw for you?
I actually stopped. Like,
she checked out mentally like 6 months before I realized I was done.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So we were in 2 different places, but
I decided to take a break and like, I didn't like quit because keep in mind, like we were best friends before this company. So it was, that was an interesting dynamic too, to navigate, like being business partners and being best friends. And we like did the best we could. So I was not happy. Like I was just had no routine anymore, would stay up super late, wasn't having people signing up, you know, like I was just discouraged. And I realized like I had to really ask myself, like, am I enjoying what I'm doing? You know, like, and I look back and I realized like the past couple months, I was only doing it because I felt like if I quit, I would be looked at differently and like judged. And I wasn't happy. Like, wasn't going to the gym, wasn't eating right, you know, just had no stability whatsoever. And I just decided I needed to take a break. I told Mars, like, I'm still going to be around. I'm still going to go to events and hang out with you guys. I'm just not really going to be on the network marketing side, posting so much and doing all the things that we used to do.
Yeah.
And then after I stopped doing that, I felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders and there wasn't so much pressure on myself anymore. And I got to really just form real relationships with people. And then, you know, I kind of decided, like, all right, I'm not going to come back to this. And I don't think I had told you that, but like we had a conversation where you were kind of like checking out as well. And it happened at the right time, you know, like, and I was like, oh, thank God Mars is like, she's on the same page. Because if not, I don't know what's going to happen.
For me, I was in denial for a really long time.
Yeah.
But like Lauren said, it was all about like the balance. I didn't have any balance either. First thing on my mind in the morning is like grind, work, put in work.
So much anxiety.
Like, it's like it was a lot of anxiety, but I think I had gotten so used to it that I didn't realize it was a problem. And I thought that it was a beneficial mindset because if I'm working 24/7, I'm going to get to my goals faster. And I would have periods where I would just crash. I didn't want to do anything. I would sleep for days. And then I'd vent to Lauren and be like, oh my God, like I'm a piece of shit. I'm not going to like succeed. I'm not going to reach the next rank. Like I'm not doing anything. And like then you feel embarrassed because everyone thinks you're like a leader and thinks that you don't get tired and stuff. So it's a lot of like guilt tripping yourself. So after a while of getting burnt out and then working and then getting burnt out and then working, I kind of realized that I had a very toxic mindset.
Yeah.
And around that same time she mentioned, I took a mental break for a few days, and during that few days where I didn't do any work at all, I kind of saw like a different side of people, a different side of myself, and that's when I realized that it was doing me more harm than good. And I thought I was going to go back into it after those few days, but
yeah,
those few days turned into 2 weeks, and then those 2 weeks turned into a few months, and I was like, yeah, it's over for me.
Let's talk about that actually. When you mentioned working, not having a balance, not eating right, not working out. I think that especially in social media in the society now, we're just forced to just work, no sleep.
Yeah.
And as a human being,
Yeah.
I've always thought, or I've always preached that, you know, you should find a balance. You should take care of yourself because at the end of the day, you can have a mental breakdown, an anxiety attack. You never know. And especially, you don't know what you can handle until you push yourself to that point. But let's just talk about that. Do you think that social media pushes us or forces us to overwork ourselves? And we're only in our early 20s.
Yeah.
Like, we're stressed out because we want to be millionaires.
Yes.
And we're just like, here growing up, we're still little babies. So
Yeah.
what do you think?
I think when we, like, especially during COVID, I will say social media was like on the grind culture. Like, what are you gonna do if you're still broke after COVID? Like, you know, like, how do you have
so
a year?
annoying.
Yeah,
like,
we're in quarantine. You're not making money. What the fuck are you doing? Like,
at first it really motivated me though.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
at
at
first
one
I was
point.
like, let's get it. But after a while of not prioritizing mental health,
Yeah,
that's
so
when you
important.
realize, like,
yeah, and it was like that grind culture is so toxic because of what it causes you to do. Like, I remember we would call each other and be like, oh my God, I slept till noon. Like, I have to call people. Like,
Yeah.
I have texts on my phone. Like, fuck, like freaking out about it. And like, we would eat like crap.
Oh
like,
my God.
When we
Really?
lived in Miami, we would like eat McDonald's every
my
day,
gosh.
every
Every
day.
day?
Bruh.
We would
McDonald's cup noodles, like,
Yeah.
we would make meals, bro.
peanut butter and jelly, like one meal a day. Like,
Oh my
Chipotle, we should have invested in that shit. Like, back then.
Chipotle's bomb.
We would have like one meal a day, stay up till 4 a.m. Also, just this is a side note with trading, like, in order to trade, you had to stay up late because that's when the market was open. So we would like grind all day with network marketing, contacting people, getting on phone calls, and then try to stay up till 4 a.m. trading, and then somewhat sleep, and then do personal development.
And then
like,
wake up to having lost money from the night
yes,
before.
yes.
Oh my God.
Like, so that grind culture was very popular during COVID. I will say now, like, I've been noticing that, like, social media and people are adapting to, like, the take care of yourself era and, like, going to the gym and just, like, focusing on your mental health, because when your mental health is right, like, you actually put more passion into your work. And, like, it became just a routine for us to work. We weren't enjoying it. We were just had a checklist of, like, all right, I'm doing this, 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 and this, not even caring about it, you know,
we
like
really based our value in our results.
Yeah. And it was, I think it's so important now. Like, we both, you know, prior to joining the network marketing company, and I always gone to the gym. I stopped doing that. And now we both have a good routine. Like, we just, I feel like a human again. Like,
that's
like
good.
Started therapy because I needed to go to therapy.
Therapy is good.
Yes. After that whole network marketing experience, I needed to go to therapy for my mental health.
Yeah.
And now, like, just having a routine feels so much better, because I've always been a routine person for me. And, like, I was taken away from that, especially when you're traveling a lot. That's another thing I didn't realize. Like, we both love to travel, but
traveling is fun.
It's very hard to have a routine when you travel.
Yeah.
Like, we were always on the go somewhere, you know. That was very hard for us. But, like, it is now, being 24, still in our young 20s, having a routine is super important to us. And also, like, being graceful with yourself. Like, we had to come to terms with, okay, if we're going to stop doing this, we might not hit our goals when we thought. Like, right now, we thought we would be chairman 10 in our company, which was like $10,000 a month residual. We thought we would hit that the first year. Didn't hit that the first year. And then, like, by now, I thought I'd be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Honestly. So, like, having...
Yeah. At 20 years old, I'm like, by 23?
23.
No way I'm not going to be a millionaire.
Yep. So it was like having grace with yourself and, like, just prioritizing your mental health first. And I feel like we both realized that and, like, got out at the right time before it was too late.
Yeah.
Which I'm very grateful for, is we stopped at a good point where we both could come back from it in a reasonable time. Like, we still talk about our experience, and it's still, like, something
we laugh at it.
We laugh at it now. Like, we're like, oh,
it
my
is
God,
funny
I
now
can't believe
that
we
you look
did
back
that.
at it. It's funny.
Yeah. But it was a fun experience. Like, overall,
you don't regret it.
No
regrets.
No.
Sometimes I'm embarrassed by it, but I don't regret it at all, because it definitely did make me the person I am today. And I feel like a big shift, like, just to go off of what she was just saying, for both of us, is we would always look into the future and would always be worried and have anxiety about the future and what we want to accomplish, and that we weren't there yet. I feel like now we have a much better grip on staying in the present moment and enjoying your life right now. Still having goals that you want to achieve, but not thinking about them so much that it makes you anxious that you're not there yet. I think a really important part that has shifted for me after leaving that part of my life is just, like, really just enjoying what we have right now. The process is really important.
And you don't have to sacrifice everything. You know, in that company, we were told, like,
oh yeah,
you can't go out, you can't have fun with your friends, you can't spend time with your family. Like, sacrifice everything, because in a couple years, like, you'll have everything. And that's bullshit, because you never realize, like, you never know what could happen to anyone in your life. Like, now we allow ourselves to...
I treated my family so bad when I was in that company. I did not spend time with them at all, and that is definitely something I regret.
Yeah, it was sad. Very, like, self-sabotaging, sacrificing your happiness for the future, which at the time it made sense, you know, like, but
at the time it's like, Mom, Dad, sis, like, I can't hang out with you, but I promise, like, a year from now I'm gonna have money, I'm gonna take you everywhere. Like, that's not how it works.
And in reality, they don't really care. Like, they don't care if you have money in a year. Like, they want to spend time with you now, and they didn't understand it. And I think that's, like, the biggest thing, is that you don't have to sacrifice all the good things in your life just to be successful. You can have both, you know?
Balance.
Yeah, and like, we allow ourselves to go out and have fun.
That was a big part for me. Like, when I quit, like, my main thing in my head was, like, I don't want to get rich and be, like, depressed. Like, I want to be in a good place in my life. There's no point in having all the money if you don't have people you love, if you're not in a good place in your life. So I was just like, it's not worth it if you're not going to get to the top and you're gonna be alone. You know.
Do you think that money brings you happiness?
I think it definitely can.
It can.
Yeah.
What's that saying
But-
we used to talk about? Like, or you're not gonna cry in your
Yeah.
Lamborghini or something.
Would you rather cry in a Lamborghini or
like a
Toyota?
Honda? Yeah.
Would you? Would you
Yeah,
rather?
I'd rather cry in a damn
I'd
Lamborghini.
rather cry in a
Definitely.
Lamborghini. I think like
That's a much better place
Yeah.
in your life.
you can. I feel like like when you have money, you have different kind of problems. You know,
Yeah.
like you're gonna have problems when you have money, but
Mhm.
they're different kind of problems versus not having money. I do think that
Money gives you so many options.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
keep in mind, like I'm not at that level where like I could say like, oh, it does or it doesn't. Like now we are more financially stable. So it's like experiences are a little different and like we're not stressing so much about money, but it's just like a different experience, I would say, because I don't know, man. When you have a lot of money, you gotta have problems too. But
Yeah.
Every level. comes
because
with
I
a new
remember
devil.
like when we would travel and I remember struggling financially, but like still having a lot of fun. So that's why I'm not
Yeah.
going to
That's
say
good,
that I
though.
think money gets you happiness, but I don't know. I'll come back to that when I have a lot of money. You could ask me that question again.
I feel like when you don't have money, like you're stressed. It's much easier to not be aware of your mindset because you're so stressed about surviving.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that money does buy you happiness because if you're on survival mode,
Yeah, you're
There's-
like constantly
yeah.
worried. And then you always have that, I know, like going back to the company, like we always had the mindset of like once you hit a certain level, you have to get to the next level like right away. Like we always had like
Oh,
a
yeah.
sense of urgency. So I think that kind of like altered our mindset with money. It's like, oh, you can have money, but there's always more. You know, that
Mhm.
was something that we still have that because you always want to reach for the next level, but like to enjoy the moment was
Mhm.
really what was like a huge thing that we were missing that I think now that we both have and that we're grateful for.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think that as your mindset changes, the money will change?
Oh, for
Yes.
sure. Like,
yes.
for sure.
My mindset is so different from when it was back then, and I work way less and make way more right now.
Yeah. That was like a huge thing we used to preach about. It's like the more you stress about not having money, the more money you're not going to have. You know, like that totally shifted when we learned like just about spirituality and personal development and that money is energy.
Mhm.
You don't make money, you attract money.
Mhm.
So that was one thing that we would always try to teach people is like stop stressing about the money because the more you stress about it, it's not going to come.
Yeah.
And money comes and goes, and that's something I'm super grateful for learning is because everyone that I've been around my whole life has always had such a strong grip on money and I never have enough money. I'm always stressed. I can't pay bills. And then they wonder why they can't pay bills because
Yeah.
they're so worried about it. And so we realized like you don't have to work day and night to make money. People that have money don't do that, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That was like
Oh
a
my God.
huge thing.
A lot of people that I look up to right now that are doing what I want to do, like they
Mhm.
work like 4 hours a week.
Yeah.
And they're making so much damn money.
It's like the
So-
more you stress about not having money, you're not going to have it. And we've gone through things where I didn't know how I was going to pay rent or how I was going to pay my bills. And then I stopped worrying about it. And somehow it just
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Like I would just get somehow money in my bank account. Like
Mhm.
I couldn't even
It
explain
always,
to you.
it always will work out, and I think it's important not to worry. And it's easier said than done,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, like I like to tell myself, like this has happened before. It's gonna work itself out. You just
It'll
have to have
That's very
faith.
important.
Yeah.
Do you believe in the law of attraction? Do you believe the things that you say and speak are very important? I believe that social media, as you mentioned, social media has become more spiritual.
I
I'm
love
seeing
it.
a lot of astrology, Cancer, Pisces. What's your sign?
I'm a Virgo.
Pisces.
Opposite signs.
What are
but
you?
Really?
Yeah.
Opposites?
We're sister signs.
Sister signs.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a Cancer.
Okay.
Both water sign.
Nice.
She's like logical. I'm more emotional. So
Yeah.
everyone always asks, like, how are you guys friends? Like, you're so different. It's like we figure it out. We balance each other.
Yeah.
We give each other different perspectives on life.
It's needed.
That's awesome.
It is very needed.
Do you think are Virgos analytical?
Oh, for sure. Like, I'm very, like, before I do something, I need to know how I'm doing it, and, like, it has to be perfect. We're perfectionists, which slows us down.
Yeah.
And that's, like, that's one thing that she taught me a lot, like, being in, like, our company and, like, with social media. I would never post on social media before I met her.
Dude, this is like the big
Yes.
conversation we can get into. I like have always been on social media, so I've always been comfortable in front of the camera and recording myself. When she got into the company and she wanted to do the network marketing side, she had to overcome that fear of being on camera. She really did not like watching herself back or listening to herself back. So I remember one day I was like, "Hey, you're gonna do it today." And I like put a camera, I propped the camera in front of her, and she wouldn't let me be in the room while she was like talking into the camera, so I had to leave the room, and she's just like,
I was like, basically, that was like my coming out video of like being in network marketing and basically saying that I'm going to switch up the content on my page. Because in my mind, I'm like, I have to tell people. I feel like you would have just posted it, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, I need to have a plan. Like, I need to let people know. I need to give them an option to unfollow me. Like, I need to have this whole thought out plan so I don't feel weird about posting this. I need to let my people know. And I remember posting that. I couldn't even watch it. I probably till this day, I haven't watched the whole thing.
She ever watched it,
No, and so that's something that her like characteristics like have helped me grow so much.
That's awesome.
She's like given me a lot of confidence in myself, and like
she's grown so much.
Yeah,
I really loved her evolution.
Like, so we would go places and she would teach me how to pose, and like, you know, I used to be that person where if we were gonna take pictures, no one could be around. Like, I can't have not one person walk by and see me posing. Like,
oh, now it's like we don't care if there's like we're in the middle of New York City and we're like,
we got our light out, the flash on, like people are like looking, laughing, walking by. We don't care.
But those are the best pictures.
Literally. And people ask us like,
we don't get the secondhand embarrassment anymore.
Not
we're
anymore.
Gonna get those content.
And they ask us, how do you get good pictures? I'm like, this is what you have to do. I don't want to do. Okay, sorry, you're not gonna get good pictures. But I will say, like, both of us being so different, it's both helped us like grow a lot, especially with social media. Like, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be like probably on this podcast right now, like just talking, being in front of a camera. So I think that really like being so different has its benefits, like in finding people that you're not like, because I was always around people that were just like me. It wasn't helping me grow, and I will say that's super important.
So cute.
That's very important.
Yeah, and just being around different energies and different people, different signs, and like finding who kind of like not like, what's that word, like challenges you and to grow into a different person. I will say that's really awesome to have. So if anyone can do that, get around different people.
Right.
It's a huge thing.
It's not always a bad thing if someone challenges the way you think.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I think that helps you to grow. I think any challenge helps you grow.
Yeah.
Because when you're uncomfortable, I feel like at first it's scary, but it's a good thing.
Yeah. We've been through a lot of like scary situations where we don't know how we're going to get out of it. And then it just happens. Yeah. Like, and that's, I think everything's for a reason. Good,
like the spirituality thing. Like it's, especially me, like I'm ready to get over things fast. Like I won't dwell on stuff. I'll feel guilty if I'm dwelling on something. Like I move on from challenging situations very fast because I know like how valuable your mental is. And I will refuse to let something affect me for that long. Yeah. I'll take my time and try to process it, but if it's something I can't change, I won't dwell on it because there's like no point.
That reminds me of my mom. That's literally my mom's favorite quote. She says, you can, because you know I'm a Cancer, so I'm emotional and I be crying sometimes. So she says, she always used to say, you can cry about it, but don't cry too long.
Yes. Yeah.
So
it's just like having that like inner voice that like, you know, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's going to work out, and that you don't understand it in the moment, but like at the end of the day, you'll realize like why you had to go through it. And it sucks to hear that. Like when you're going through something bad, you don't want someone to tell you like, oh, it's happening for a reason. Because you're like, why is this bad thing happening to me? So it is kind of like a battle to like know that in your mind. But it really does in the long run like work out the way it's supposed to. Yeah. And that's something that
you don't realize until you've overcome it, that it made you into the person that you are. And it teaches you, challenges teach you like you learn from your mistakes. Like, it's really, life isn't perfect, and I feel like everyone thinks it's supposed to be rainbows and sunshine, but it's not what builds our character. You know, have to go through those struggles to learn what we want out of life and how to overcome challenges.
Yeah, and you have to like teach your. We got put into the position like when we joined this network marketing company to. We learned so much. Like, we got shown different audiobooks and different like mentors and different things to grow ourselves.
Yeah.
And like without that, we wouldn't have this mentality. And that's something that my number one thing that I'm grateful for with that experience is I totally changed my mindset on spirituality and like having thoughts are things and what you think you attract and the law of attraction. And prior to that, the only thing I did was like listen to Oprah's podcasts, and like that was like my personal development. And I got put on to so many different people that we were fucking mind blown. Like, and us going through that together, having that awakening was so much fun, you know, like experiencing that with your best friend, like, and we learned it at the same time. And without that,
we really were like on a high.
It was like crazy. Like, I've yet to like feel that feeling again of just like opening up this whole new world, and that realizing that like you really are in control of your life, and the way that you speak literally plans out your life. No one else does that for you. So it was super fun to like learn that with other people, you know, because like by yourself, it's very hard to do that by yourself. Like, because I would never listen to audiobooks or like I had no one pushing me to do that. And even when you're going through a hard time, you don't want to do that, even though you should. Like, it's very hard to do it on your own. So I'm very grateful that we had like that accountability to force us to do it. We've told people to like listen to things that we changed our life and they don't, you know? So it's very hard to get someone to do that. And I'm very glad that we learned it at a young age. And like you said, with social media, I think social media is helping more people do that, and like putting people on to manifestation and affirmations and spirituality and attracting things. I think that social media is really changing people's mindset, which is a good thing. Like, I wish they would have done that generations ago. Like, our parents would not have as much trauma. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
We wouldn't need to be like breaking these generational traumas.
And it's so hard.
It is. Because they're in a place where they're like
it's hard.
old and they don't want to change their habits. So I will say, like, we are very...
We're blessed, though. Like, it's hard, but, like, the fact that it starts with us and we know that we have a totally different mindset and outlook on life than our parents and their generations, it's honestly a blessing to know, like, we're going to be that one person in our family lines that's actually going to do something different.
At the end of the day, it has to start somewhere.
Our kids
Someone
are
has
to be
the change. Literally. Someone has to be brave. So I think that mindset is very, very important. I think that manifestations goes along with the mindset. Actually, November 11th just passed. Well, 2 weeks ago, actually, 11/11. Can you guys tell me about 11/11? Did you do something specifically on this day? 11/11 can come into numerology. Is numerology important for you?
I'll let Mars talk about this. She knows more than I do.
We hung out that day.
And
it was during the hurricane that was passing. So it was raining really hard, but she like waited for the rain to like settle a little bit, drove to my house, and we journaled a little. We wrote down things that we wanted to let go of. During the full moon, a lot of people do different types of rituals. One of them could be a releasing ritual in which you write down things that you feel like are holding you back. It could be yourself. It could be other people in your life that you have to release. It could be bad habits or a bad mindset that you have. And you just write it all, let it flow. Don't think twice about it. And when you're done, you just rip the page out your notebook and you burn it. And like that experience of just like burning it is telling yourself like, I'm ready to release. I'm ready to go into the next phase of my life. I'm ready for these things to stop holding me back. So it's a good like reflection. Even if you don't believe in, you know, astrology and all those things, I feel like it's a good practice once a month to really sit down and reflect on your mental health, what you could be experiencing better, if the people in your lives are serving you good. So that's what we did. We wrote that down, and then we actually did a full moon meditation.
Okay.
There's this woman on YouTube that does a new meditation for every moon that comes out. So the one we listened to, they have you visualize yourself and your goals, and it was actually like we were really in sync that night. Like I honestly, like I felt chills because during the meditation she had you imagine yourself on top of a mountain, and the clouds, she's had you imagine like dark clouds passing you by, and those were the things that are holding you back and things you want to let go of. Then towards the end, she's has you imagine that the rain starts falling really hard on you, and it's imagine the rain is like cleansing you of all these bad negative like vibes, people, like situations, mindset. And at the same exact moment that she was like, I want you to imagine that it's raining super hard, like on your mountain. Like literally, and our eyes are closed. We're just like laying down next to each other. It literally starts raining so hard that it was crazy because it's like you're imagining that it's raining, and then all of a sudden it is. Yeah. So you're like visualizing, but at the same time it happens. So I don't know. It sounds
Were you
crazy.
spooked out?
I had chills. I was like, oh wow, like you kind of feel like I made that shit happen. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
But it felt like amazing. Like I didn't say anything at the moment, but after like the audio ended, I was like, dude.
We both were like, did you like see that? Like right when that happened?
Yeah.
Like that was actually like, and it's like in those moments when you realize like you can't make this shit up. Like there is no explanation that like would justify those things happening, but like that's how you just know like there doesn't need to be an explanation for these things, but there is something out there more powerful than we are that is like just giving you the right signs and the right like, even though there was like a hurricane, but like who would have thought like right when that happened,
it was not raining.
No, it was not raining, and we were like outside on her patio, and it was just like crazy that you just and after that, like after we did that, you just feel like a weight lift off your shoulders. And like I would, like Mar said, like encourage people to do it once a month, because it might feel like a chore at the time, but like once you're done with it, you really feel different, and like you feel hopeful for the future and like motivated, and like it brings you back to that feeling of like everything's gonna be okay. Because you can have that mindset, but life happens. Like sometimes you do get wrapped up in real world problems. But like it didn't even take long.
Exactly.
We did like a 10-minute meditation.
10-15 minutes. It doesn't have to be a full day preparation thing. Like,
so would you suggest for the listeners, would you suggest that they meditate at least 15 minutes a day?
You can even do less than that. Like I downloaded an app that was like a 5-minute, because I feel like that's a misconception people have, is that if you're going to get into this, you have to do all this shit to change your whole entire life overnight. It's not like that. Like you can start with a 5-minute meditation, then start 10, then 15, because sometimes it is hard.
It's hard to focus. The meditation is very hard to not think about anything. So I can say that I have not like really meditated. Meditation is when you get to a point where your mind is like blank,
silent.
And as humans, like there's always going to be things and memories and ideas that pop in our head. So that's the real challenge. And some people might be watching this and wonder like, how do I start meditating? The easiest way to get into is just look up guided meditations on YouTube, and you'll have a voice telling you what to do. All you do is just get in a comfortable position and just listen to what they're saying. They guide you through visualization. And that's what I think what the mainstream thinks of meditation is visualization, but they're two different things. But visualization is what the guided meditations help you do. And it's you getting very, very detailed about how you would look in your future reality. And it like just ignites like this fire in you. Because a lot of people, like, they say they know what they want, but they've never taken the time to sit back and actually imagine themselves in that setting, like in that car, in that apartment, with the love of their life. So visualization is very powerful, very important. Imagination it's all law of attraction. You imagine it, you see it happening, your brain doesn't know what's real and what's fake, and it starts making its way to you.
You begin to believe it.
Yeah.
That's important.
That's why it's important, because you'll start to believe it because you can actually see it now.
And then people, situations will start like coming in your life that like you actually get to see it in real life, and then your belief level goes up, and then your vibrations go up, and then you start attracting that higher vibrational people, and it's just like levels, and then you get to the point where you like turn around and you realize you have everything you dreamt of.
Yeah. Shit works, man.
It really does. Like,
there's been scary things that I've manifested that I'm just like, I look around, I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Yes. And like you get to a point where you start to get used to it, where like you're like, I don't even have to worry about this. I'm gonna just keep talking about it. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then it fucking happens. And you're like, you actually have to train yourself to take a moment to be like, holy shit, I manifested this. Because once you start, it's just a roll where you don't worry about anything anymore. Like you really don't. It can be like hard to start, which is why, you know, like starting with meditations, journaling, writing down anything. You have to start somewhere. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Get started for sure.
Little by little.
Yes. Get started.
Practice
Whatever you want to do, get started.
Yes.
Okay, let's begin to wrap it up because we've
been here a long time.
Yes.
I feel
I
like
hope
little
you guys are still
time.
listening.
Yes. Okay, so what are some goals that you guys have? What can we look forward to in the future from Lauren and Mars? What can we see?
The relaunching of our podcast, Hot Girl Hustle.
Okay.
Yeah. There's like a sneak peek.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our first time recording episode. And
tell us
over a
about
year.
it. Tell us about the podcast.
I feel like what we started as is going to shift
Okay.
when we relaunch
Episodes
it.
will be deleted. So.
Yes, we have to go back and into what we posted, and because our mindset has changed so much. We went over this in the beginning of the episode. We're completely different people now. So I feel like when we do get the chance to re-listen to what we said, there's going to be a lot of disconnect. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. And certain things we'll keep, certain things we just don't want to hear that, and we don't want to put that out, so we'll probably delete those episodes. So we're looking forward to restarting it.
Yeah, we're basically, it's a podcast just about best friend dynamics, entrepreneurship. It could be mindset, therapy talks, dating stories. It's kind of going to be a little bit of everything.
Just lifestyle, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
we'll have to have you on as a guest and at us.
Excited.
It's going to be a lot of different topics and just a relatable podcast to everyone. And
I look forward to it.
Yes, thank you.
That's amazing. Okay, so let's play fact or fiction. Okay, we don't have that much time, so I'm just going to do 2 statements. Okay. I'm going to say 2 statements, and you can say fact or fiction. Okay, so I would rather have money than fame.
Fact. 100%.
Yeah.
Money.
Yes.
You don't care about the fame. You don't care about...
Fame doesn't necessarily mean you have money.
So. Okay.
And there's a lot of bad people out there that wish bad on other people. I've seen too many celebrity stories. I don't need the fame. I want the money.
I'd love to have both, but if I had to pick one, I'd say money.
Yeah, she would love the fame.
I would love it.
Definitely. Okay. When you have a lack mindset, your life lacks.
Facts. 100%.
Okay, and perfect. Thank you, beautiful ladies, for coming with me. I enjoyed this conversation. Can you tell the people where they can follow you?
Yes. Okay. So we have our Instagram. It's Hot Girl Hustle, right? That's
you can find our personal handles on there, but mine is It's the Real Mars.
Okay.
And mine is Lauren Lindquist with 2 T's. If you go on Mars's page, you'll find me there. It's very easy to find us together. We're a package deal.
Aww.
Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun. This is really exciting.
Thank you guys for coming. Make sure that you tune into this podcast. We on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. You know where to find me. It's all facts.